Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I have yet another movie review for you all, so hopefully you find this one interesting. This movie is a dark comedy from France, French language English subs, released in the year 2024, directed by Frank Dubosc, and this film is called How to Make a Killing. So How to Make a Killing is about a husband who is loving. He's an elderly man, and so he lives in the remote wilderness in France. It's a beautiful landscape and it's very snowy, so it's dangerous conditions to drive in. But then one day he's driving on the road and he swerves to miss a bear. Now he doesn't know what the bear's doing there. It's not common to have bears in this area, but he swerves to miss it, and as a result of that he collides with a parked car that has someone behind it, and the parked car hits this person, kills them, and then he realizes he is in a little bit of trouble. So then all of a sudden someone else comes out from relieving themselves, going to the toilet, and when they come out and see the guy, they panic and they impale themselves on a tree branch. So now he's got two dead bodies, and what he doesn't realise is that these people are actually criminals and they have a lot of money in the back of the car. So when the husband realises they have a lot of money, he tells his wife, and this is the start of a set of consequences that are going to put their lives in danger. So what that danger is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on How to Make a Killing. This movie is not to get confused with the movie coming out this year with Ed Harris called How to Make a Killing. Exactly the same title. I don't know if it's a remake or whatever, but I don't know too much about the 2026 release, so don't get that confused with that one. This is actually a French movie from 2024. So this is the movie that I wanted to see. It was on a streaming service here in Australia for free, and so I thought, having a dark comedy from France, what was this going to deliver? And what it delivered was actually a surprisingly entertaining film. So the movie does have issues that I'll go into a little bit later, but the biggest plus to this movie is how well written it is. This is a movie that really understands what it is to be a dark comedy, because there's a lot of darkly humorous situations that actually entertain me from start to finish, and that's something that I really enjoyed. The characters are larger than life, and the overall story I thought was really entertaining. So you have a lot of mystery behind it as to what these two criminals were all about, and what's going to happen now that these married couple have this money. They have to hide what they've done from the police, from their friends, and it's just a catastrophic set of circumstances that just get worse and worse for this family. But then the way that it was written, you have a lot of fun at the disturbing elements that the movie produces, and so that's something that I really like. The acting was fantastic. There is a showcase of some French and Belgian talent in this movie, and the actors portray these characters in a way that it is a lot of fun. And so it's a case of a really good script that allows the movie to be as entertaining as it is. And so this is what the French really understand, is to how to make you laugh at really awkward and dark situations. And the Scandinavians do it the best, but the French aren't far behind them. So you have the performances, you have the platform that's set that you really jump off, and now what's going to happen from now on. And then as they try to hide these things, it just evolves the situation. It just becomes even worse for them, and so they're digging their own grave basically, and then by the end of it you feel as though you're exhausted because of what they've been through. And so this is exactly what I love about French cinema, is that they understand what it is to actually have really entertaining situations, and the situational aspect of this movie is definitely the driving force, and it was definitely something that I really enjoyed. The cinematography is excellent. It's in the middle of nowhere, it's a snowy landscape, and that snowy landscape has a very cold and isolated feel, and that was the isolation that these characters were going through, is that they had no one to really depend on. They had to hide everything from everyone. Therefore that snowy environment really captured the psychology of this movie and what everyone was going through. And so as the police start to become more and more suspicious, this is where the suspense starts to get more and more, which is something that I absolutely like. There are some shocking moments of violence, but it is few and far between. It's more about the psychological suspense of getting caught. Are they going to manage to steer clear of the law, and are they going to manage to actually build a new life for themselves with this dirty money? And then ultimately, who owns this dirty money? And that they're going to want to find it, and so you have the threat of getting caught, but also the threat of behind these criminals. And so there's a lot of questions that need answering, and once they're answered, I just thought as though it became more and more entertaining, and that was something that I absolutely loved. I thought the soundtrack was actually quite decent. And production-wise, it is typical of France. If I have issues with this movie, I just felt as though it went a little bit too long. It never outstayed its welcome, it never derailed, but I thought to myself, it's starting to get a little bit tiresome. And so at the start of the movie, it has a very quirky feel. The jokes are very dry. This is a very deadpan humorous film. So if you don't like deadpan humour, then you're not going to like this movie. It doesn't go out of its way to hit you with slapstick comedy. It's not cheap laughs. It's actually something that if you listen and read the dialogue, if you're not French, you have to do a bit of reading with the subtitles. If you're prepared to actually really get into what's going on, it is actually a lot of fun. It's actually a very, very funny film. And so I really liked the way that it felt at the start, but then by the end of it, I just thought as though it was getting a little bit repetitive, a little bit tiresome, but that didn't derail the experience for me. What is definitely a movie that I wasn't prepared, I wasn't intending on enjoying as much as I did. It's not really worth replaying once you know how everything's going and what everything is, how everything is going to be. You don't really have the need to watch it again. Replay value really isn't there, but for one-time viewing, it's definitely a film that not many people talk about and more people should talk about. So overall, for How to Make a Killing, it is a lot of fun. It's darkly humorous. It's expertly written with really good performances from the actors. So if it sounds like your kind of thing, go out there and see it. I'm going to give How to Make a Killing 3.5 stars. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies and I'll see you later. Bye.